What is up, Packers fans? Welcome back to another edition of the Daily Draft, brought to you by Brewski Light Lager from Badger State Brewing, the greatest can in all of Wisconsin. I am your host and the publisher of Packer Report, right here, Ross Uglem. And today we are breaking down Notre Dame linebacker Jack Kiser. Pros, he is very experienced, nearly 1,900 collegiate snaps. He is the all-time games leader at Notre Dame. He was a captain for the Fighting Irish. You always like to see that. I think the Packers have a lot of college captains on their roster. Part of building a good locker room. It's not necessarily a make or break thing, but it's good. You want to have guys that were leaders on their college teams. Certainly, he graded out extremely well for PFF in his last two seasons, including an elite coverage grade in 2023. Certainly, a place where the Packers struggled was coverage from their linebackers, the ability to drop to depth, a lot of passes over the middle, over the level of the linebackers in front of the safeties. Happened a lot. It's been happening a lot, frankly, since Joe Barry was here. But obviously Jeff Halfley not able to get that thing, figured out either. I think some guys really struggled with that. Effective as a blitzer. I like the way he rushes the passer. I really do. He has an 80 or higher run defense grade from PFF in each of his final 5 seasons. And you say, Ross, what do you mean final 5 seasons? We'll get to that. It's in the cons, but I mean, he's an excellent run defender. Does a good job taking on blocks. Not one of these super. I mean, he's not huge, but he's not one of these super undersized linebackers that are always going under blocks or around blocks or dodging blocks. Like he'll take on a block. No, we'll get to his size. Like he's not gonna just take on a pulling guard, stone him, shed him, and get to the linebacker. But in today's NFL, basically no one's doing that. He's an to me, he's an extremely fast processor of what's going on in front of him. Reads run pass well. Like you see a lot of, Packers linebackers, Quay certainly, but even like McDuffie will bite on a run fake and have to robot, go back and try and find a crossing route or try to get back to depth and stuff. And whether it's in the run game and he's reading a pull or whether it's in the pass game or play action game and he's making a run pass decision quickly. I see very, very good processing from Jack Kiser. He's ball productive. 7 forced fumbles, 4 picks, and 3 pass breakups. That's being around the football, although it was in a lot of games, as we mentioned. So you got to take that stuff with kind of a grain of salt when you're talking about a team's all-time games played leader, of course. But ball productive. Like I said, he's a very, very physical football player and he tackles well. That will be something that would be music to the ears of Packers fans is that Jack Kiser tackles well. And he's a great leader by all accounts. We talked about that a little bit when we were talking about his captaincy at Notre Dame. Guys, if you haven't yet, pre-order that Green Bay Draft Guide powered by Packer Report. We broke all our records last year, largely thanks to you, the audience here at the Daily Draft. And we'd like to do it again. Promo code DAILY gets you $1 off. That guide is jam-packed. And I think the most important thing that it does, and I've talked about this before, the most important thing that it does is that it narrows down the guys that you can look for. We have a really, really good grip right now. And look, man, we get it. Like it's becoming more readily available. More people, more sites are writing about this. And we don't necessarily care that we get the credit for being first or kind of being there, but we're going to do a great job of getting you ready for the draft and hopefully narrowing the scope of players that you need to learn about because, there's too many, right? Just 329 guys just got invited to the combine. Let us do all that work. Maybe learn about 100 guys that are likely to be Packers instead of all those dudes. All right, diving into the cons. Jack Kiser's old as dirt. He spent 6 seasons at Notre Dame. He will turn 25 on NFL's opening weekend. That is an old rookie. He is a shorter, smaller linebacker, listed at 6'2", 231, but measured closer to 6'1" at the Senior Bowl. He is probably more smart in coverage than he is athletically gifted or skilled. He will probably get got by shifty backs and tight ends with dynamic athletic ability. I don't think he has tremendous range sideline to sideline, and he played primarily, even though we talked about leadership, right? All these things, he primarily played on the weak side with Notre Dame, And I think if you're projecting him as a linebacker in the NFL, or if you're projecting him in a way that you'd like to see the Packers probably use him, you'd probably like to see Jack Kiser as a Mike, and that's just not how Notre Dame really used him. He's mostly on the weak side, so that's in the cons as far as I'm concerned. Packers fit. Can he be a long-term McDuffie, Eric Wilson replacement? I would say yes. Can he hold up the mic? I think that's something Green Bay's still looking for. I think that chasing, playmaking linebacker, that's Edgerrin Cooper, hopefully for the next 10 years. I don't think Quay's the answer at the mic. I would like to actually see Quay play the other outside linebacker position. Doesn't seem like that's something they're interested in. It's something I'm interested in, but what I'm interested in doesn't matter. I'd like to see him potentially hold up the Mike linebacker position for Green Bay. I do think he could be a great green dot guy. He's experienced. He's a good leader. I think he's a very smart football player, at least from what I can see on film. Right, I've never interviewed him. I don't know him. But to me, he seems like a guy who could green dot. If you get him late enough, too, I think you could talk yourself into the thought that he's just a one contract guy. He's going to be 29 at the end of that rookie deal. I think the Packers would probably view him as a one contract guy. They're going to do that in the top 100? Probably not. But fourth round pick, fifth round pick in that Jake Ryan, Blake Martinez area, they probably talked themselves into that. And I don't think either of those guys got a second contract. Packers fans, this is Packer Report, and the countdown to the 2025 NFL Draft is on. There's no better place to celebrate this April than Badger State Brewing, which is just a short Lambeau leap away from the draft action. Overall, I got a round 4 grade on Jack Kiser. He is my 125th player overall. I think he's got a high floor and a low ceiling. I think you know what you're going to get with Jack Kiser. Guys, buy the guide. Buy beer from Badger State Brewing. Do everything that you're supposed to do here on the Pack a Day Podcast YouTube channel. Have a great weekend. And go Pack Go.